Hey guys, sorry I'm not there with you today, but I'm so glad you can watch me on YouTube and you can learn how to divide fractions and whole numbers. So our quick review, our little bell ringer if you will, is to rewrite the following as fractions. So 5 as a fraction, we know we can just stick it over 1. 7 as a fraction is 7 over 1. And 10 as a fraction is 10 over 1. So any whole number can be rewritten as a fraction just by putting it over 1. Now we're going to find the reciprocal. That means this fraction, when you multiply it by its reciprocal, it's going to equal 1. So the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1. And how we can check that? 1 times 2 would be 2. 2 times 1 would be 2. 2 divided by 2 would equal 1. And that's just our quick little check. So our reciprocal for 1/2 is 2 over 1. All right, what about our reciprocal of 5/8? Just flip it over and you're going to get 8 over 5. And remember, you can check to see if that's a true reciprocal by multiplying it out. 8 times 5 is 40, and 8 times 5 is 40 again. 40 divided by 40 is 1. The reciprocal to 3/7 is 7/3. All right, now our steps for dividing fractions, and feel free to pause if you need to. Our first one is rewrite the whole number as a fraction. Our second one is keep the first fraction the same. We're going to underline this word keep because we're going to be saying it a lot. Our third step is to change the division to multiplication. Our fourth step is find the reciprocal of the second fraction. And in parentheses, I'm going to put flip. And then our last step is to solve. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and highlight these words that I have put in all caps because I'm going to be referring to them often. And if you get confused, just come back up here and read those steps again so it can help you understand what I'm talking about if you get confused. All right, so now we're going to do some example problems. Our first one says 4/5 divided by 6. So we're going to rewrite the whole number as a fraction. So I'm going to put it over 1. Now I'm going to keep the first fraction the same. So I'm going to write 4 over 5. Now I'm going to change my division sign to a multiplication sign. And now I'm going to flip the 6 over 1. I'm going to turn it into its reciprocal, which is 1 over 6. So keep, change, flip. So I did all of those steps. So now I'm just going to solve. I'm going to multiply straight across. 4 times 1 is 4. 5 times 6 is 30. And then of course I didn't write this out, but of course we know that we need to go ahead and reduce. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both of these by 2 because I see that they're divisible by 2. They're both even. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So my final answer is 2/15. Number 2 says 8 divided by 3/4. So any whole numbers, I see 1, I've got to rewrite it over 1. So I'm going to keep my first fraction the same, so 8 over 1. Change my division to multiplication and flip the second one. That just means find its reciprocal. So 4 over 3. So 8 times 4 is 32. 1 times 3 is 3. So I have an improper fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and ask myself, how many times can 3 go into 32? That's 10, with 2 left over, and my denominator is 3. So my answer is 10 and 2/3. Number 3. I have a whole number here, so I'm going to write it over 1. I'm going to keep the first fraction the same, 2 over 3. Change the division sign to a multiplication and flip my second fraction. Just going to rewrite it using its reciprocal. So multiplying straight across, 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 5 is 15. Hey, looky there, we got the same answer as we did for number 1. Number 4, I see a whole number, so I've got to rewrite it as a fraction, put it over 1. So I'm going to change the division to a multiplication, find the reciprocal, which is 3 over 2. So keep, change, flip, did all those steps. 9 times 3 is 27. You all know that's my favorite math fact. 1 times 2 is 2. All right, now how many times can 2 go into 27? That is 13 times. 2 times 13 is 26. One more gets us up to 27, so my answer is 13 1/2. So we're on the last page of our packet, and I know we have worked with dividing fractions by whole numbers using models, and we can kind of do shortcuts with this, but I want to practice using the standard algorithm. So we're going to continue putting any whole numbers we have over 1 to create a fraction. So I'm going to rewrite our first number, our first fraction. Oops, sorry. We're going to put our division sign, make it a multiplication sign, and we're going to flip our second fraction, finding the reciprocal. So I'm going to take 1 times 1, and I get 1. 6 times 2, I'm getting 12. So it's 1 over 12. Problem number 6 says 6 over 7 divided by 4, so we're going to put that over 1, rewrite our 6 over 7, turn our division sign into a multiplication, and flip our 4 over 1 to say 1 over 4. We're finding that reciprocal. So then we're going to multiply straight across. 6 times 1 is 6. 7 times 4 is 28. So I'm seeing that I can divide both my 6 and my 28 by 2. They're both even. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 28 divided by 2 is 14. That's our final answer. Number 7, I'm going to put a 1 underneath my 6 to turn into a fraction. So I'm going to rewrite this as 6 over 1 times, then the reciprocal, 4 over 3. 6 times 4 is 24. 1 times 3 is 3. So we need to turn this into a mixed number because right now it's looking like an improper fraction. So we're going to ask ourselves, how many times can 3 go into 24? And actually that is 8 times with a 0 left over. So that just turns into a whole number of 8. Number 8. 7 needs to have a 1 underneath it. So we're going to rewrite it as 7 over 1 times 3 over 2, the reciprocal. 7 times 3 equals 21 over 1 times 2, which is 2. 2 goes into 21 10 times with 1 left over. 2 times 10 equals 20. One more gets us to 21. So 10 1/2. Number 9. I'm going to put a 1 underneath 4, so it's a fraction now. 2 over 7. Our division sign is going to become a multiplication sign. 4 over 1, I need to have that reciprocal there, so it's going to be 1 over 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 7 times 4 is 28. I see that they're both even, so I can divide them by 2. It's a divisibility rule of 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 28 divided by 2 is 14. That's our final answer. So our last one is 10 divided by 4/7. I went ahead and put that over 1 since it's a whole number. So 10 over 1 times, finding the reciprocal of 4/7, and it is 7/4. We've got a big one here. 10 times 7 is 70. 1 times 4 is 4. How many times can 4 go into 70? If I don't know off the top of my head, I can go ahead and reduce. I know that 2 can go into both 70 and 4, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So 70 divided by 2 is 35. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now this is a little bit more manageable for me. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I know 2 can go into 35 17 times, because 2 times 7 is 34. And then I'd have one more left over to get me up to 35. All right, now I have a problem that's going to get you thinking a little bit. Write an equation that would result, it's going to give you an answer, with a quotient, oh, this is going to get you thinking even more. What's a quotient? That's an answer to a division problem of 58. So write an equation that would result in a quotient of 5/8. 5/8. So how would we do a problem where there would be dividing? So something divided by something else is going to give you 5/8. So that's what I'm leaving you with. Leave me a comment because it makes me feel cool, or we'll talk about it in class. Something divided by something else is going to give you 5/8. So what do we know about math that would give us 5/8 as our answer? Bye guys, can't wait to see you again.